this would probably be the greatest win of our lifetime.
He's doing a very good job of dragging this team into places where historically it hasn't gone.
I know Kane's got the armband, but he's the true leader.
It's a lot of history between these two nations. On the football side, on the political side,
1986, it was the first World Cup I can remember. Menace and magic from Diego Maradona. He did things to England that maybe I've never forgiven and I've never forgotten. I don't think I've ever seen anyone touch him for greatness until Lionel Messi. On Wednesday night, the greatest player I've ever seen stands between England and a World Cup final. Welcome to the Inside Channel. I'm Sam Matterface. I'm in Dallas. Alex Crook is jealous because I have got myself right into the cowboy spirit. You'll know that I was in Nashville a year ago and starting the whole cowboy theme. You tried to nab it from me this summer. I'm taking it back, baby. I'm taking it back.
You've got the wrong type headwear, though. That is, I'm reliably informed, a winter cowboy hat. You need the summer version, mate.
No, this is a twister. This is a lightweight felt, actually. I had it
looks nice, actually.
Custom shaped yesterday, cut down perfectly at the front just to fit the size of my face, according to the guy in the shop in Fort Worth yesterday. So I'm very happy with my headwear, actually. Thank you very much, and it feels very comfortable. I like it. I've got to be honest. Since I put it on yesterday afternoon, I haven't taken it off. I think I might have even slept with it.
Well, it has that effect for you, doesn't it? And actually, I've just dug this little beauty out from my suitcase. Look at this. There you go. So I'm channeling my inner Dallas for you. See that?
Well, I'm in Dallas because of the other semi-final between France and Spain. You're wearing Erling Haaland's T-shirt, or the T-shirt made famous by Erling Haaland. He's gone home. England have gone through. And, of course, France, Spain and Argentina have joined them as well in the semi-finals of the World Cup. I'm going to do a full planes, trains and automobiles trip across the United States of America to get from here in Dallas to our favourite destination, the Holy Grail, a World Cup semi-final involving England and Argentina. I don't know if it's going to be a Greyhound bus from somewhere, a Union Rail train, whether it's going to have to be a helicopter. I don't know. I don't care. I'm going to do it. It's going to happen. I'm going to leave the semi-final in Dallas and I'm going to get to Atlanta. I promise you that. Where are you going to be watching it?
Well, we are going to be in Buddy's Sports Bar in New York. It's where the drive show is coming from this week. And it's also where we all got together, baby spice at all, to watch England-Mexico. So we're being a bit superstitious. I've said to the bosses who are making the arrangements, you have to get us in exactly the same seats. And we have to fly baby Spice back from London so she can come again and show her support once more.
Did you say that's what you want, what you really, really want?
I did. And then I did a ziggy-zigga.
Let's hope we're doing that at the end of the game. Former England striker Darren Bent is going to give us his thoughts on England and the tournament's great strikers later in the episode. Kane, Mbappe, Haaland, what it's like through a striker's eyes to be watching those guys. Stay around for that. We're also going to talk to a Argentine footballer. Never actually played for the Argentine full team, but he did play for the 21s and the 20s, and a very proud Argentinian. Julio Arca, also very ensconced in the English game, and spent a lot of time at Sunderland. Right, let's start on England against Argentina. Remember, Star Sports Bet, our sponsors, are best priced England throughout the course of the tournament. If you want to back the boys, there's no better place to do it with the UK's independent bookmaker. Starsports.bet is the place to go. It's over 18s only, begambleaware.org. Let's start with the history. England and Argentina have got a long and varied history. What's your big moment from games gone by?
Well, I'm not quite as old as you, so I was only 4 in 1986. Obviously, I've seen the replays, the hand of God goal, the brilliant second goal that Maradona scored. But it's France 98 for me. In St Etienne, I think it was. Michael Owen's mesmeric goal, one of the best individual England goals I think I've probably ever seen. Diego Simeone getting David Beckham sent off. And actually, what gets forgotten from that game? Obviously, we went on and lost in penalties. David Batty missed one, didn't he? I can't remember who the other person missed. Was it Paul Ince, potentially? But anyway, it was definitely Batty. Sol Campbell has a goal, doesn't he? Scores a goal to put England in front that gets really harshly ruled out. And because of the Beckham red card, that sort of goes unnoticed. I've got to say, my relationship with the England football team changed that night for a long time because of the way that David Beckham was pilloried in the media, those effigies and the Beckham shirts with nooses around them. West Ham away, the first game that following season.
That wasn't in the media, was it? That was just everybody who was piling in on him because of the subsequent events. I mean, it was not a great look, was it? And I think that Beckham handled himself brilliantly afterwards, didn't he? Because he just kept himself to himself. He get very quiet, and then obviously let his feet do the talking, which he subsequently did.
Yeah, went on to win the treble at Manchester United that season. But as a United fan, it took a long time for me to get over that, the way that the nation turned on one of our own. And obviously he rebuilt his relationship with the England fans. He went on to captain the team and everybody idolised him now. But yeah, that scarred me a bit, I've got to say.
I'd certainly, the one that I'm going to reference, 86, is the one that scarred me. It was my first World Cup. I was 8 years of age. I remember staying up for that quarterfinal and watching it in all its glory on the sort of grainy pictures that you used to get from Central America back in the day. The hand of God, everyone was going mad. It took a little while for us to realise what had happened. Peter Shilton was moaning straight away. Then 4 minutes later, I mean, arguably one of the greatest goals that had ever been scored. I mean, it was absolutely sublime the way that he glided past the entire England team, some of you twice. And obviously, as a result of it, is spawned a bit of a rivalry. I mean, there's obviously the political tensions between the two countries, which also get very much put into the cauldron. But that 1986 game was the last time that Argentina beat England in 90 minutes. Can you believe that? And then the statistics are amazing. I know they knocked us out in 98, but that was on penalties. But they haven't beaten us in a 90-minute game since, which I don't think, if you had asked me, I would have said.
No. Obviously, 2002 was Beckham's redemption. There was a friendly, wasn't there? Did we win 3-2? Michael Owen got the winner as well. So
yeah, that was in Gelsenkirchen, weirdly.
Yeah, so the recent record is good, and I'm going to say exactly what I said about the Norway game. If England turn up and we play to our optimum, and I don't think we have played to our optimum, not consistently over any 90 minutes in this tournament, but if we do, and Argentina play at their best, we'll win. Because player for player, we are better than Argentina. Obviously, the caveat to that is they've got Messi, and he can do literally anything. And I also think we might have to just suck it up and be on the wrong side of one or two dubious refereeing decisions.
Okay, we'll get back to Messi in just a second. I doubt we'll be on the end of any decent refereeing decisions, bearing in mind that Argentina seem to be benefiting from quite a few of those, although some people could actually say that we benefited from one or two good decisions. Stella Solbakken would certainly say that. He still thinks it hit the spider cam, even though FIFA have released footage saying that the snickometer says it definitely didn't. It just fell at a really random, weird angle for no reason. Anyway, we'll get into Messi a little bit later on. We'll get into the tactical battle now, because the heart of the game really is two teams who both think that the ball belongs to them. England are averaging 65% possession at this tournament. Argentina 67%. Someone isn't getting the ball on Wednesday night, and how each side copes with that might decide this semi-final.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fascinating tactical battle. And I talked about Messi being a cheat code for Argentina. I've used this phrase before. I think Thomas Tuchel can be a cheat code for England because he is an elite manager. He's a proven winner. He comes to the fore in the knockout stages, deep into tournaments. And I think we're going to see that again. I think Thomas Tuchel, he's a World Cup winner, Scaloni, but Thomas Tuchel is a better manager, in my opinion. So, yeah, really intrigued to see how we go about this. And obviously, there's big decisions to be made. I'd put Reece James in at right back. I think if he's 65% fit, I think you need your best fullback in that position. Then you can put Konsa back in the centre with Gueye. I think Saka has to come in again if he's anywhere near full fitness, because Madueke, well, I don't necessarily agree with the pylon that's come his way. He wasn't great, was he, in that game against Norway in Miami? So there are big calls that Thomas Tuchel is going to have to make. And then how fit is Declan Rice, having come off at half-time, another key area of the pitch?
Well, Declan Rice, I think, has suffered from illness and has done for the whole week in the build-up to that game against Norway. So I'm not going to take him out of the team. I think by now he should be absolutely fine. He was in bed ill in the days leading up to it and then still declared himself fit enough to play that match. It's been 3 days since then. Let's hope he's back to full fitness. If he is, he's back in the team without a shadow of a doubt. Because actually when they took him out of the team and fiddled around with it a little bit and had Anderson in there on his own and Bellingham dropping slightly deeper, the balance of that midfield certainly did not work. For the first time in God knows how long, that blending midfield has really started to work. My England team for Wednesday, and I'll be completely honest with you, it is just for this game. I would go Pickford in goal, James, Konza, Gay and Spence, Rice and Anderson at the base, Bellingham ahead of them, Saka on the right, and Gordon on the left, and Kane through the middle. That's how I'd go with it because I think you need that muscularity right at the heart of defence. John Stones did actually brilliantly. He played 120 minutes. But asking John Stones to play 120 minutes, having not started a game since the first game of the tournament, and then try and repeat that against Argentina is probably going to be... You're walking a knife edge, and I don't think that we need to do that. I think, Konza's played very, very well. As long as he is recovered from his fatigue that he suffered on Saturday night, and he goes back into the centre of defence for me. They've done really well at limiting chances, England, actually. They haven't conceded too many goals against, and they haven't looked like conceding too many goals against. People sort of breach them every now and again, but haven't had too many opportunities, although Norway probably had one or two which they should have profited from. But Argentina won't need that many because they've got the magic of Messi. So how do you deal with him? What would you do to stop him? Do you stick Anderson on him?
Maybe do a man-to-man marking job, because I think, unlike France, right, if you mark Mbappe out the game, then you've still got Elise, Doué, Barcola, Dembele to worry about. Argentina have got good players. Lautaro Martinez is a handful. Julian Alvarez off the bench can be a handful. McAllister breaking from midfield. But they're not as intimidating as those French names that I've just mentioned. So maybe there is an argument to do a man-to-man marking job. Maybe what I would even consider doing, and I agree with you about Jed Spence coming at left-back, by the way, if Declan Rice is not 100% fit, and I don't think he's looked 100% fit this tournament, even illness aside, I might put Nico O'Reilly in there to try and do a man-marking job on Messi.
It wouldn't be the worst idea. I mean, he's obviously a central midfielder by trade, and actually he spends a lot of his time coming in from that left full-back position into that central midfield area to try and add an extra number in there for England. The problem is this guy just seems to just continue to thrive no matter what you do to him. I mean, he's top of the Golden Boot race alongside Mbappe. He's now got double-figure goal contributions for 2 separate World Cups. Only Mbappe has ever done that on Opta's record. His 10 World Cup assists have gone to 10 different players. He doesn't just score, he makes everybody else around him score as well. He's absolutely fantastic. So what has worked against him in the past? Well, I was having a look at FIFA's technical analysis team, who say that the teams that succeed sit in a compact mid-block, denying the pockets between midfield and defence. And crucially, they don't double up on him, because doubling up on him is how you get picked apart elsewhere. The other school of thought is to give one midfielder his life for 90 minutes, which is what we've talked about. But I wonder whether or not Thomas Tuchel, being as tactically aware as he is, will go for the first one.
Well, he'll be aware of that data, and obviously the England analysts would have been working overtime. So, yeah, there's a strong possibility. I don't know if it's going to be as cagey as that, though, Sam. And you're going to put up your bet later, and we're not a million miles away on how we think the game might go. I think this might turn into a shootout, because Argentina are vulnerable. They conceded twice to Cape Verde. They conceded twice to Egypt. I'm not a fan of Argentina defensively, and Thomas Tuchel will have seen those weaknesses. So does he base his whole game plan around stopping Messi? Or does he think, do you know what, actually, we have the players to hurt Argentina. We're going to go for it.
Well, England have got great players as well, and we shouldn't underestimate the Silk Road, which is Harry Kane and Jude Bellingham. The spine is historic. Already, Kane and Bellingham have got 6 goals each at the World Cup. No country has ever had 2 players score 6+ goals at the same World Cup before. Bellingham scored a brace in each of his last 2 World Cup games. Talk about coming to the party. Only Kane and Lineker have more multiple goal involvements during World Cup games for England ever. And he's only 23. He's only going to get better. He is not carrying the nation on his shoulders, but he's doing a very good job of dragging this team into places where historically it hasn't gone. Because I think when you get into games like Norway, you get into games like Mexico, in the past, England haven't always had the ability to be able to, 1, see them out, and 2, have that magic player who comes up with that special moment time and time again. He has got it.
Yeah, he has. And actually, if you look at tournaments past, you can't help but to go back to the golden generation, and Gerrard and Lampard and the like. They never carried the nation in the way that the Jude Bellingham is here. Beckham did, particularly with that goal against Greece to qualify for the World Cup. But Bellingham is on a different level here, and we've said it earlier in the recordings that we've done. You talk about England greats. You talk about Lineker with his golden boot. Obviously, Harry Kane is discussed in that company. So Bobby Charlton, if you go back to 66, Gaza for that ability to come up with iconic moments like the goal against Scotland at Euro 96. Bellingham is almost writing his own chapter, and he has to be in the conversation now, particularly if we do go on and reach our second ever World Cup final, our first on foreign soil. He has to be talked about as one of England's all-time greats, even at this relatively early stage of his career.
Absolutely, absolutely. Right, prediction time. Here we go. I'm going to go England 2, Argentina 1. I think that Argentina they've scored 3 goals in 4 straight games. That's how potent they are going forward, and you can't shut that off completely, even if you called the emergency services.
I was going to say, is that how we're going to stop Messi? Get the fire brigade out.
That's the only way to do it. The only way to douse the flames that follow in his trail are to ring the fire brigade early. Here they come down the track. Oh, dear. That is one big engine. That's a bigger engine than Jude Bellingham's. He does it with all the lights flashing as well. I mentioned about the England scoreline, though. I think they'll win by 2-1 because I think they finally got the legs and the nerve to beat a very good team at this stage. I think it's going to be their time.
I agree. Less confident than I was against Norway. Maybe more confident than I was going into the Azteca against Mexico. But one of the sticks that I've always used to beat England with is that we never really roll over the opposition we could. And it's something our colleague on TalkSport, Simon Jordan, says quite regularly, that England in the recent past have beaten the teams they should be beating. And whenever they come up against someone on a similar level or better, they lose. Now, I know you're chucking Germany at the European Championships at Wembley, but that was a poor Germany side. So I think this would probably be the greatest win of our lifetime if England were to beat Argentina in a World Cup semi-final. I don't think it gets any better than that.
Yeah, I mean, the Holland game obviously is the one that we always go back to, but
ultimately we didn't get to the final.
We didn't. We did get through to the semi-finals, and that was a major achievement at the time, and that was a massive, massive thing for us. But it was a group stage game, wasn't it? So it's like, it doesn't have the same impact as a World Cup semi-final would. Of course, it would be the greatest night of our lives, but that's what we want is them to go on and complete the whole thing.
I think that'd be more difficult. But my prediction is 3-2 England, potentially after extra time.
So tipping competition is to come later. So this is not the tipping competition, but you do have to give a best bet for Star Sports. Star Sports are best price England in every single match at this World Cup. If you're with me on England on Wednesday, that's the place to back them. starsports.bet. I'm going to back them to do it in 90 minutes. I think that's the best bet.
And my best bet is England to win in extra time.
Okay, that's starsports.bet, 18+, begambleaware.org if you want to back that as well. We're looking forward to it. I can't wait to get there. That's the preview from us two, the biggest game either of us have ever previewed, I think, on this podcast or anywhere else. But coming up, a man who wore the shirt and did the hardest job in it, putting the ball in the back of the net. Darren Bent on England, on Kane, on where Kane, Mbappe, Haaland and the others really rank against each other. A striker judging strikers. That's next. Yes, as promised, England striker Darren Bent is with us. How are you? You okay?
Yeah, I'm all good. Got to say though, Sam, you're looking magnificent with the hat and the shades on.
You liking that? You're liking that? It is about 45 degrees here in Dallas right now, so you need any sort of cover you can get. But I did sort of take a little bit of inspiration. Now, do you know what? It's not taking inspiration. I'm not having this, by the way, because as I've already mentioned earlier in the podcast, right, back a year ago, as you know, I was in Nashville, Tennessee, cowboying it up. I absolutely loved it. And then he's tried to steal my look through this tournament and claim it as his own. When actually he was just copying me from a year ago. So I'm stealing it back. Stealing it back.
But you know what? Crookie in the hat, it has now become synonymous with him because he won't take it off and he wears it pretty much 24/7. People are saying that, oh, Crookie, this is your look. So like literally he wears he wore it for the show today. He just won't take it off. I think it's because he's scared of crushing it.
I think you might be right. It's the only way to transport them, actually, is on the top of your heads, to be fair.
Yeah.
Listen, England have got to transport themselves to Atlanta. It's a World Cup semi-final. Look, I don't think we should underplay this, first of all. I mean, you played in England teams that would have been desperate to get to a World Cup semi-final, probably had aspirations of doing just that. How significant is it that they're there?
Yeah, it's huge. I think you're right. I think certainly the generation of mine, I think there was genuine belief, but I always felt like the club rivalry, maybe with the Liverpools, the Manchester Uniteds, Arsenal's, Chelsea's, almost kind of I wouldn't say superseded that, but it was certainly a problem within the squad. But this togetherness that, again, and you've got to give him massive credit, Gareth Southgate created before Thomas Tuchel got the job, has obviously led us to this point. I believe. I think the performances maybe is another thing in terms of, I don't think we've seen the very best of England yet. But I think we've seen the very best of certain individuals, again, which is why we find ourselves in a World Cup semi-final.
Yeah, well, what do you make of the tournament so far from an England perspective? Because there's been a few disjointed performances. I wouldn't say there's ever been a 90 minutes where I thought, oh, they've absolutely clicked it here.
No, there hasn't been. But again, I think that's the special thing is that, and a lot of top teams would always say that, if you're not playing necessarily well, but winning games, that's a sign of a true good footballing team. So I do believe now that the Argentina game is probably the first proper test they're coming up against. I think, no disrespect to what they've played up until this point, they were expected to beat Norway. I know Mexico was always going to be tough, but if you looked at the players on paper, England should have won that game as well, which they did. So now Argentina, you're coming up against the world champions now. If ever there was a game against a team to almost send shockwaves around the world, I think it'd probably be this one against the world champions.
So do you think England should be favourites for this, or do you think that actually Argentina, with their experience of winning a major tournament and being in this situation before, should be rated as the most likely to go through?
I think that, I mean, they're world champions. They're there for a reason. I think you have to give them the respect that they deserve, and they should be favourites. I mean, still, for me, they've got one of the best, if not the best player on the planet, and he's having a massive, he's not a passenger in this team. He's having a huge influence on what Argentina do. If anything, to be fair, you take him out of their team, then I don't think there'd be a real debate in terms of who wins it tomorrow, or in a couple of days' time. But the fact that they've got Lionel Messi and he's playing as well as he is, and he's still got that real determination to do well, all of a sudden now, I don't think you can put England as favourites. You have to put Argentina and give them the respect they deserve.
What about Harry Kane? Because you were a striker, you scored a lot of goals. This guy scores goals for fun. He scores goals like the very, very best, doesn't he? He scores goals like the Haalands, like the Ronaldo, like Messi, like even the old Ronaldo R9. He's just an absolute machine of a goal scorer. Do we have to put him in that bracket? And do we give him enough kudos for how good he is?
We definitely don't give him enough credit in terms of how good he is. And his numbers this season, as you will probably better than anyone, his numbers this season are frightening for club and country.
Off the scale.
But I think when you look at the last two performances, where you'd say, right, this is crunch time. This is where we put our foot to the floor, heavy metal football. Who's going to be that person to step up? I'm not quite sure he's done that yet. I haven't seen him put performances like Jude has put in the last couple, where he's almost gone, do you know what? I don't care about anyone else on the pitch. It's about me. And if no one else is going to play up to their standard, I'm going to make sure that I do it. And I think his performances the last two has almost got me questioning, well, hold on, who is England's most important player? Because if you'd have asked me before the last two games, I would have said, well, it's not even a debate. It's Kane. It's Kane or bust. But I'm looking at the way Jude's performed. And even, do you know what it is, Sam? His celebration before the first game made me think, oh my goodness. Everyone else was jumping around for joy, going crazy. He scored the goal, shrugged off his teammates, and just run straight back to the halfway line as if to say, hold on, the job's not even nowhere near complete yet. Let's get on with it. And that almost sent shockwaves throughout the squad. And I thought, hold on a second here. I know Kane's got the armband, but he's the true leader.
Yeah, they mean business, I think, and he definitely means business. And if you speak to them, you get the feeling that especially those big players, Bellingham in particular, is giving them the belief that they can win the World Cup. And for the first time, when you speak to the players and you're in and around the camp, I think you realise that actually this is a squad of players that expect to be at the final. They expect to be there on Sunday. And I think that they understand that, winning against Norway is brilliant. We celebrate it, we get on with it, we move on. But then there is another job to do. And then it'll be the same if they manage to do it on Wednesday night. I think it's all about the actual holy grail of doing something that no one has done for 60 years. And I think they understand the weight of that, and I think they deal with the weight of that better than I think many of the other previous generations have. Would you concur with that?
Do you know what I would say? I think it's going to be huge, because I think if they can get past Argentina now again, you know this better than anyone. I always feel like in World Cup scenarios, whenever England have come up against someone maybe ranked a little bit higher than them, or has got that real kudos because they've been world champions of recent times, England have always fallen short. Like, I don't know if that's a mental block or what, when they're getting beat by Spain, getting beat by Italy, getting beat by France in the last quarterfinals. I almost feel like when they come up against someone who we expect them to get beat by, they get beat. They almost, but I think if they can go up against Argentina, who a lot of people feel like Argentina are the favourites, they're the world champions, they've got Messi. I think psychologically, if England get past that, I don't think they'll have any fear whatsoever. Now, I'm not saying they'll win the final against France or Spain, because I still, again, in the final would have them as underdogs. But I think the belief of beating Argentina in a World Cup semi-final might just give them that kind of catapult to go, well, do you know what we scared of? We've just knocked out the greatest player in history while he's playing at a 9 out of 10 in this tournament. We can go and beat Mbappe and co, or Rodri and co. So I think that might give them huge belief.
What's the tournament been like for you as a whole? You've been in Miami. I saw you down there. I saw you in New York as well. What's been the sort of feeling since you've arrived in America? Because, I mean, obviously you spent a lot of time here, but this is a different America, isn't it? It's a soccer-obsessed America.
Yeah. I mean, I still thought there'd be a lot more World Cup fever, if I'm honest, over here. I think I'll probably say Miami was maybe slightly better than New York for the football, but in terms of the in and around the place, but it's still been fantastic. I've still absolutely loved it. I was skeptical about this World Cup going into it because of the amount of teams. I thought would we see a lot of teams get pumped 5, 6, 7s? I know it happened a couple of times with Germany and Curacao, but I think people like Cape Verde, the story that they came with, I think's made the tournament absolutely incredible. So I have loved every minute of it, and I thought that there'd be certain games I'd be like, even at prime time, I'd be like, I ain't watching that. Any game I've been able to stay out for, I've managed to watch it because it's been a superb tournament.
It really has. It's been fantastic to watch. And we've been so lucky to be able to tour around this great country and see everything, because it's also given us a little bit of a better flavour of what America's really like, you know, going on to all these different cities and bumping into people, talking to people. You know, I was in a cab today and this guy said to me, you know what, a lot of people complain about this place. He said, but, you know, they haven't suffered. You know, this is a good place to be right now. And I think, you know, if you go around the streets here and you speak, I mean, listen, there's all sorts of different problems for different parts of society. But like, you know, it is a largely a country that operates quite well. You know, we've traveled around so much and we've managed to get to different places very, very quickly. And, you know, even if that means we've changed somewhere or we've had to go somewhere else, like we'll do overnight travel to go to Atlanta on Tuesday night, but we expect it to go quite smoothly because most of the stuff has really so far. It's been very smooth if your name's Mbappe, very smooth if your name's Messi, very smooth if your name's Kane and Haaland. Proper forwards. I don't know if Messi's a striker, but the other three certainly are strikers that have impressed. As a former striker yourself, who has caught your eye the most as an out-and-out number 9 at this tournament, and who do you think wins the Golden Boot?
Do you know what? It's a great question because, like, of course, I didn't know what to expect from Messi because obviously he's 39 years old. I wasn't sure what level he'd come into because we spoke about Ronaldo and his issues with the Portugal squad, who are a really talented squad. I just didn't expect Messi to the fireworks that he's produced. Now, coming in obviously opening a hat-trick in your first game is always going to set you up nicely. But I didn't expect that. But probably the one would be Mbappe. I mean, I was talking about Mbappe before the tournament. I just feel like Mbappe at World Cups turns into a completely different beast. You watch him at the Euros, he's not quite the same. I think he scored 1 goal in the Euros, and I think that was a penalty. Other than that, he gets to the World Cups, and it's almost like he comes alive. He's smiling, he's happy, the squad looks happy. He's got that really magical relationship with Didier Deschamps, who can get the very best out of him. So I'd probably say, if I had to put my neck on the line, I'd say Mbappe would win the Golden Boot. And for me right now, if I had the choice to pick one to play centre-forward for my club, it would be Mbappe.
Darren Bent, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very, very much indeed. Much appreciated. We love that. Right, okay. It can't just all be about England, though, can it? Because there is another team on the other side of the tie. That's Argentina. And I think it was a teammate of yours, wasn't he? Julio Arca.
No, I just missed him.
You just missed him. Well, funnily enough, you're just going to miss him now because he's next on the Inside Channel. Well, we thought it was really important that we got a perspective from an Argentinian, a man who also understands what English football is all about. He is the former Sunderland player Julio Arca, who played for the under-20s and under-21 Argentine international team, grew up in that country as well, and is a proud Argentinian. How are you? Are you okay?
Yes, I'm good. I'm good. Exciting and looking forward to the game on Wednesday.
Okay, I mean, where does your heart lay here? Because you're a man who came over as a teenager. You never really left England. When England play Argentina, is there a little bit of you that is half and half?
Well, I have to be honest with you. I have to support my grassroots. So I have to be honest this time.
Fair enough. We completely get it. Talk to us about Argentina. What is it about the Argentine footballer that the English fans should be wary of, that the English team should be wary of? What is the DNA that you felt the moment you first walked into a proper Argentine dressing room?
Well, I mean, Argentina player, as I'm sure you could see then, they always are players that fight till the end, they never give up. They always seem to work hard regardless the quality that they could probably have. And this group that obviously is playing the World Cup, and the majority of them play the last World Cup, they seem to have that resilience of, fighting till the last minute when everything go against them. They're still working and fighting, and they show that, well, the last two games, especially against Egypt, when everyone rolled them out 12 minutes to the end, and then they managed to turn around and scoring 3 goals. So I have to say that they probably haven't been playing as good as probably in Qatar. I think the World Cup in Qatar was a lot better, the way they were playing. But look, as a fan, we cannot complain. We are in the semi-finals.
And you're coming up against England, obviously, and you talked about resilience, resolve, and digging in and pulling results out of the bag. England have got a bit of that too, haven't they? They've shown that over the last couple of games. Are you a little bit scared about that? Because often when we see England, they get into these difficult moments, and in years gone by, they might have wilted, but they don't look like a team that's going to do that anymore. A bit like Argentina, they form this brotherhood.
Yes, I think England, this World Cup, show a different side of probably the last World Cups they play. English teams always going to have a good players, and of course they got so many young talents in there. But they show in the other side that when things turn ugly, they keep digging and working and fighting, and that's what they're going through them, and that's why in the semi-final. When I think about the game on Wednesday, it's definitely going to be physical. It's definitely going to be intense. Hopefully, we see some good football as well, because on the pitch, we're going to see some of the best players in the world playing against each other. So, but, I expect it to be very physical game on Wednesday.
Yeah, very physical game. Usually is when these two come together. Talk to me about Lionel Messi. Everybody from the outside looking in will occasionally and rather flippantly say, Argentina, they're a one-man team. They're all about Lionel Messi. But it's not just about Lionel Messi, is it? I mean, there's some good footballers in that team.
Yeah, we have so many good footballers, a lot of them playing in the Premier League. And if they don't play in the Premier League, the rest of them play in some of the best teams in Europe. The good thing of having Messi is Messi, even now that he's 39-year-old, is still working as hard as the young players. And I think that's what motivates the other player. When they see him chasing defenders, trying to get the ball back, obviously scoring goals, crying after the game, getting emotional. That was obviously motivate other players to see, well, if he can do that, we need to work even harder than him,
Yeah, looking at the Argentina side of Messi apart, we know how important he is and we know what a wonderful player he is. Who is the other one player that you'd be telling the England lads to lose a little bit of sleep over, and why?
Well, the player that, especially the last game, been picking up his performance, I think, is Julian Alvarez. He haven't started really well the World Cup. He was injured. He had like a knock on his ankle or something like that. And then the last 2 games, he's slowly coming back to his best. But again, it's not just him and Messi. We have some other, great players that they haven't got, or they haven't played as best as they could, like probably Enzo Fernandez, McAllister. They've been doing well, but we know they can do a lot better.
Yeah, these fixtures always seem to produce an iconic moment, a goal, a flashpoint, something that lives forever. Go back to 1986 and we know what happened there. There was both, wasn't there? There was a flashpoint and we had the wonderful goal that ended up winning it for Argentina. But England's record against Argentina is actually pretty good. They've only lost 2 of 14, which is mightily impressive, really. Is there an extra electricity to an England-Argentina game? Or is that just all built up noise from the outside? Do you feel it, do you think, when the players are on the pitch?
Definitely gonna be, I think the players gonna go an extra gear this time because it's a lot of history between these two nations. On the football side, on the political side, on the wars that we have between each other in 1982. So it's a lot going on between this country. I know it's a game of football and obviously it's a semi-final, so the players gonna try to do the best they can to obviously achieve the final. Argentina won it last time, but they're hungry enough to achieve another final and hopefully another World Cup. England, it's been a while, 1966, if I'm not wrong, since last time. So they're obviously desperate to achieve something.
Yeah. We don't need reminding it was 1966. It's been a very, very long time. Before we let you go then, where do you think the game gets won and lost? What's the key battle on the pitch that you're going to be watching in particular?
I think the midfield gonna be key. I know England got strong midfields and obviously Jude Bellingham and Kane been doing really good. So I think the midfield area will be key, but I can see this going to extra time and possibly penalties if you have to be honest with you.
Don't do that to me.
I know. We're gonna be suffering to the end. We're gonna be suffering to the end.
We've already done that a couple of times. Can we just have it nice and simple? We'd like just to win simply and then go home nice and early with the idea of going through to the World Cup final already in the bag. I know it's not going to be like that. It shouldn't be like that, really, because it is a World Cup semi-final.
Definitely.
Listen, Julio Arca, thank you very, very much for joining us. We really appreciate it. And I'm not going to say good luck to you because if I did, I wouldn't be meaning it. I'd be lying. It would be disingenuous to me.
But I'll keep it quiet on this side as well.
Okay, fair enough. See you soon. Thank you.
See you later. Take care. All right.
Okay, time for the tipping competition. The state of play is this. Sam is absolutely thrashing Alex, but we've still got bets carried over from the last episode because they incorporated both semi-finals. So our friends at Star Sports Bet have asked us just to add one extra one as we go into the final week of the competition. There's 50 points, over 50 points in it at the moment. That's how big the gap is, and so much rests on what happens in that France-Spain game on Tuesday night. But England against Argentina, we need a bet for this one to go into the tipping competition. I'm going to go for over 2.5 goals in the game itself. What are you going for?
Yeah, I think that's a good bet. I've gone a bit more ambitious because obviously I've got this massive gap to bridge to gap. Sorry, let me do that again. Yeah,
Gap to bridge, yeah.
I think that's
you're not going to not bridge to gap.
No, I think that's a good bet. I've been a bit more ambitious because I've got this huge gap to bridge, as you've already alluded to. I've gone for a red card in the game. I think with the history of the two nations, it could be quite a feisty affair. I think some of the refereeing at this World Cup has been dubious. I obviously hope it is. It's not going to be an England red card, but yeah, I'm going to go for a red card in the game.
Okay. I thought Clement Turpin really handled the game brilliantly on Saturday night, didn't he, between England and Norway?
Yeah.
One yellow card in the whole match, and that was right at the very end. Okay, the Norwegians will say, yeah, but what about the spider cam? Apart from that, I thought he handled the game pretty well, actually.
He's one of the best.
Yeah, even though Thomas Tuchel's not a massive fan. Right, okay, so you're going for that, which I think is around about 3-1, 10-3.
Yeah, not a huge price.
It's not massive, is it?
No.
Mine is 13-10.
And yours looks solid, to be fair. So let's see. I've got to start taking some chances.
Well, it's now or never, mate. It's the final on Sunday. I'm looking forward to seeing you naked for the first time in about 3 weeks.
You'll say definitely won't be the first time.
Yeah, I was going to say. Right, okay. To remember, today's episode is brought to you by our friends at Start Sports Bet, the UK's leading independent bookmaker. And if you're backing England at the tournament this summer, then Star Sports are the best price on them in every single match. Outright winner, Golden Boot, group stage bets, they were the best price there. Their best price when it comes to knockout as well. Tournament specials, in-play markets, whatever you need for the World Cup, they have got you covered. There's only a few more games to go. Head to startsports.bet to find out more. You must be 18 or above to get involved. For safer gambling tools and resources, visit gambleaware.org. Right, thank you very much to Julio Arca for coming on and giving us an Argentine point of view. I did say to him at the end of that interview, I can't wish you good luck, and I won't, because I want them to lose. I want England to get through. I can't wait to be there. I'm so excited about the prospect of being in the stadium on Wednesday night. If you've enjoyed the episode, if you enjoyed the series so far, subscribe, follow, leave us a review. It's just two mates taking you around the World Cup, and we're having a great time doing it, and we really appreciate all the help. England play Argentina on Wednesday night for a place in the World Cup final. The next episode is the reaction, the celebration, or the inquest. Either way, we'll see you on the other side.